everyone, and welcome. I'm Oriel Morrison-Higgins. I'm excited to be joined today by Andrew Paterson, the Managing Director of Great Boulder Resources. Andrew, it's good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for your time this morning.
Now, we've got some great results to talk about today. You've returned multiple high-grade gold hits, and they are actually outside of your existing resource at Sidewell, which is even more exciting. Can you take us through those numbers?
Yeah, so there's a lot of information there. It's a bit of a catch-up on previous results. So these have been in the pipeline while we were doing the Peak Hill deal. We had to turn the assay pipeline off for a little bit so we could put out a cleansing statement. Hence, there's a lot of information there. We've got programs at Mulga Bill, Eaglehawk, Flagpole and Golden Bracelet. And the headline numbers are all really around that big Mulga Bill Eaglehawk system. So that's the one that's the 2.5 kilometre strike length. And now appears to be open almost in all directions.
How significant is this for the overall scale? I mean, 2.5 kilometres is significant. What does it mean for the overall scale of Sidewell?
Yeah, so there's a few key things there. One is that gap in between Mulga Bill and Eaglehawk, which was about 100 metres gap where there hadn't been much previous drilling, and we had obviously hypothesised that the gold would continue between the two deposits. We've now finally got around to drilling in that gap and showing some high grade continuing through there. And that's significant because if we were to have a pit at either end, it would make sense to try and join them up into one large pit. Then the other key thing really is another gap actually between gold mineralisation at Mulga Bill on the one hand and Mulga Bill East on the other. We've been concentrating on the two parallel corridors, and we've now found gold continuing across that gap between those two as well. So given earlier results, we found gold to the west of Mulga Bill, and we've now found gold to the south, to the north and to the east, and at depth. It is literally open in every direction, which is pretty amazing when you consider how much drilling we've done around there and how big it already is.
And the fact that much of this is coming from areas that have previously been untested.
Yeah, and it really highlights the fact that that corridor, we've really focused an awful lot of drilling in a fairly tight spatial corridor and not tested too much outside that kind of runway. And yet when we start to step back to drill deeper holes, we're still finding gold outside of it. So it is a really big system, and at the moment the resource that we've defined so far, 780,000 ounces. That's really only within about the top 250 to 300 metres. So if you consider the down dip continuation of that, and possibly strike and width extensions as well, it's a really sizable target that we have there.
How sizable? I know that's a how long is a piece of string question at this point, but you have said previously that you're on track to go well beyond 1 million ounces. I mean, realistically, how much bigger does it get, and how quickly?
Well, just basically, I think it's of a comparable size already to Westgold's Bluebird Junction South deposit, which is around about a 2 million ounce gold endowment. So I think given continued drilling and depth continuity, that's not an unrealistic expectation. That's definitely not a JORC exploration target, but that's kind of the size of the prize that we're dealing with there.
So when it comes to Sidewell, what's your timeline here? What sort of announcements are we expecting?
So drilling is ongoing. The deep diamond drilling is continuing. There's still several holes in the pipeline there to be cut, sampled and assayed. RC drilling is ongoing at Mulga Bill and Eaglehawk right now. Aircore drilling as well, so on and off with a 3-rig program. Now that will slow down a bit as we gear up to head north to Peak Hill. However, there'll be a lot of ongoing news flow just from Sidewell itself, which will continue at about 5 to 10,000 metres per month through the rest of the year.
Well, let's just, before I let you go, Andrew, let's touch on Peak Hill. Your acquisition closes mid-June, and you're about to start drilling there too. What are you expecting?
Yes, this is going to be a lot of fun to get on the ground there, and initially we'll be doing a lot of drilling, kind of validation drilling of the existing resources. So infilling those, getting more data on just kind of administrative things like weathering surfaces, density, geology, nailing down all that stuff that some of those areas haven't been tested for several years. Extensional drilling, some of the new targets like the Golden Treasure target which Westgold drilled last year. There's some extremely high grades there. So really, we're deep in the process of designing all these programs, getting the government drilling approvals in place, gearing up to put a small exploration camp out there, and then hopefully hit the ground in the back end of June or early July, basically as soon as we can.
Well, Andrew, it sounds like we're going to be chatting to you again very soon. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thanks very much, Oriel. Good to chat.